Stay tuned for the Joan Quinn Profiles. Joan served the state of California as a member on the Arts Council and on the Film Commission. She was formerly on the Architectural Commission and fulfilled 2 terms on the Fine Arts Commission for the city of Beverly Hills. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview magazine, Condé Nast Publications, and the Hearst Corporation, Joan covered the world of fashion, the mysteries of food, the excitement of theater, and the international art scene. She continues to find people who are on the cutting edge of their professions. Here's Joan Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and we're in Cairo at the Semiramis Intercontinental Hotel with executive chef Jonathan Morris. You see the Tower of Cairo behind us, the Lion Bridge, and the River Nile. Chef Morris was born and raised and educated in Great Britain. Welcome.
Thank you, Joan.
Very typical Egyptian hello, right? Welcome to Cairo.
Yes.
How did you get interested in being a cook or a chef or however you started?
Well, it goes to the old story. I used to be busy at home with my mum, cooking, making cakes, making scones, making this, making that, licking the bowl out with your finger. That's how I started.
And you did actually start out of your mother's kitchen and then all the way up the ranks, I guess. I looked at your resume and you had so many things on there, more things than I really knew that a chef had to go through. Say, the beginning was commis chef. And explain some of these things for us.
Well, we start off in the very bottom. We call him apprentice.
Oh, right.
That is the lowest of the lowest. He's the potato peeler man, the carrot peeler, and he has all the nitty-gritties. But still he has to take notes of what he's doing, be very confident, and learn how to be a professional.
Then you go on to chef de partie.
Well, we go on to a commis.
Commis. Oh, you go to commis.
Go on to a commis chef, a third commis, which again, a little bit more responsibility, and normally another year and a half on that position. So now already three years more or less gone. And if he's doing well in the right direction and guided, then he goes up to a second commis. Another year at that position, and then he can go to a first commis.
Is this all in England right now?
This is still the old tradition that's still going on.
And were your positions in England
Yes,
so far? Okay, let's go on now to demi-chef.
Demi-chef, he's half in charge of his section. A section meaning it could be a vegetable chef, or it could be a fish chef, or it could be in the garde manger preparing all the cold items. A little bit more responsibility. And then a bit more confidence in yourself, and if the chef recognizes you, then you can be promoted up to a chef de partie.
I see. And then what about the saucier? Where does that come in? Is that the sauce man?
He is a sauce man. Well, it depends. I mean, if you work in a traditional kitchen, you are just purely doing sauces. But today, it's generally to be a mixed section between the sauce, the meat, and the fish. He's basically in charge for making all the finishing the sauces, really to give the guest the taste that he's looking for.
Then it seems you moved into the Intercontinental Hotel chain. You were in Oman.
2 years in Oman. I went there traditionally as the gourmet chef, and after 1 year I was promoted to executive sous chef, which is the assistant to the executive chef.
Was that difficult moving to, say, a Middle Eastern country from England?
Well, Oman was a bit different. It's very, I can say, well, you're still with a large company, Intercontinental, and it's still very much international feeling within the hotel, which you are mixing with a lot of foreign people. So this is really my first big experience mixing with foreign people from other nationalities, which also is a good help in understanding people, the language, and a bit more about hotel business.
And then you went on to another Intercontinental Hotel.
Yes, and I was transferred to Seoul, Korea. A lot bigger than it was in Oman, and almost twice the size. The brigade was 600 cooks in the kitchen.
In Seoul? Really? Well, I guess that's what an executive chef turns out to be, the captain of the team.
Captain of the team, exactly.
600 people in your kitchen? When do you ever get time? Do you get time to go near a stove?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, you always have time. Don't forget the hotel is a hospitality industry, and it's 24 hours, 7 days a week. We're open.
You actually live, do you live on the hotel premises?
No, I'm lucky enough, I like to live outside from the hotel. At least you can break away and spend time with the family.
And now have you just arrived in Cairo?
I've been a year in Cairo now. I was invited to come over by a former food and beverage director who did know me from Muscat. And this is actually my first position as executive chef. And so
here you are. Is it much different as an executive chef?
Oh yes, my goodness, it is. There's a lot of pressure. Everybody's around you. It's very demanding. You have to be very careful of what you're preparing, giving the guests what they want, introduce the guests to new ideas, to new tastes, new fields, and work closely with the rest of the team in the hotel.
How many people do you have in your kitchen brigade here?
I have 150 to 160.
So that really was easier for you to end up here after you were with 600 people.
Well, it's not that. I mean, it's a different. There again, wherever you go, it's a different field, a different mentality, and different attitudes. And
what are the differences, say, between Seoul, Korea, and Cairo, Egypt?
Well, we have Cairo here. I mean, it's a huge city. It's very busy. Sometimes you have problems getting certain things here. Whereas over in Asia, it was an open market. This is one of the big things we're looking at the moment.
When you say you're preparing food in Cairo, do you use food just from this area? Are the things that you prepare indigenous, or the fruit and vegetables and everything?
Most of all the fresh ingredients products are from Egypt, Cairo, the Red Sea, the fish, and it's a seasonal produce here, particularly fruits, salads. Now it's the peak season. I mean, all the lettuces are beautiful. Fruit is changing. Strawberries are just coming to season.
Do you have to learn new kinds of things? I mean, like different kinds of fruits or different kinds of vegetables that you could be using?
There's different, yes. I mean, here we have something very similar here to what's in the Far East, but it's just a different name.
That's it too. It takes time then to learn it.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some fruits here that I've never seen before. They have big black seeds in them.
That's called a custard apple.
Oh, it's custard apple, and it makes like really thick juice, doesn't it? Yeah. So, would you try to use those things in your?
Not so much. No, we just tend to serve it as a whole fruit. It's very difficult to do anything with it besides trying to eat it as a normal fruit.
But was that something new that you had to learn about?
Oh yes, I mean, this is for sure. Wherever you go, a different country, a different produce, a different way of using it.
How many restaurants are in this hotel?
Now we have the fine dining restaurant, the grill restaurant, the nightclub, brasserie, tea garden, a 24-hour coffee shop.
And you're in charge of all of those things?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's get down to something a little simpler. Let's talk about some of the spices or some of the really, when you go to a restaurant, any traditional restaurant in Cairo, there are always certain things that they put on the table, and I think these tahina.
These are the typical dishes which you can find anywhere, basically in the Middle East, but wherever you go, it has its own taste.
So they season it differently.
Season differently.
Tell us what they are, because I think we can get a great look at what we have.
Here we have the vine leaf.
And the vine leaf we call in America grape leaf.
Mm-hmm.
Last night I saw it, I guess vine leaf, I saw it on the menu.
That vine leaf or wine leaf?
Wine leaf, I saw
We'd
wine leaf.
rather stay away from the wine for the obvious reason. So we say vine here.
I see.
This is a bagaganoush, which is an eggplant base with a tahina. This is a tabbouleh, parsley with the bulgur seed,
And the bulgur is just cracked wheat?
It's husk.
Husk?
Yeah. This is
This is the tahina.
yeah, that's the vine leaf.
Is this the tahina? Or is this something different?
It's not my rings.
And this is how the
This
vine
is
leaf
the
looks?
vine leaf. And they blanch it, cut off the stem, and roll it, mix it with rice, sometimes with diced lamb, onion, and sometimes a few husks inside.
What are some of the spices that are very prevalent just in this country that you would use?
Well, we have the bulgur,
Mm-hmm.
we have the tahina, which is the oils from the sesame seed, and
But not a lot of cumin or
no, basically,
especially?
no, not so, no.
garlic?
Garlic is very much used here, a lot of olive oil, a lot of fresh lemon juice, lime juice.
One thing I noticed at the buffet downstairs were these wonderful carvings. I went, this is a watermelon carved to look like flowers. Is this typical of the region, or is this one of your things?
No, this is a decoration food product that we use on the buffets. I have somebody from a Hong Kong Chinese chef here who does it also, and I do have an Egyptian artist who also can do a beautiful carving like this.
Very beautiful. And this is a pumpkin
This is the
you brought
pumpkin.
for us?
This is the pumpkin, yeah. Even comes
Oh,
up as well.
great!
We use on the buffet, or we even put food inside. Even once I made a pumpkin soup, and we used also a similar carving to serve to the guests at this table.
That's great. Well, we don't have very much time left, Chef, but just before we leave, since you've been here, what is the most exciting thing about Egypt to you?
Cairo. Well, as you can see outside, it's a very busy, very fast city, huge. There's so much history. You have the pyramids, you have the museum near to the hotel, and you have the Nile to go on with the feluccas. I mean, you just look, you just have to put yourself back in the old days, how really, really splendid a city it was, and it still is, and you can enjoy it.
And you seem to be enjoying it.
I seem to enjoy it.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and I'm here with Azza Fahmy, who has become a modern-day symbol in Cairo through her jewelry designs. We're in the Al Ain Gallery, where she shows her one-of-a-kind collection and her one-of-a-kind creations. Hi, Azza.
Hi, John.
How are you?
Fine.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Typical Cairo welcome. I love being here in Cairo. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
I just came from the Intercontinental Semiramis Hotel across the Lion Bridge, across the Nile. But where am I now?
You are in Docky, just beside the shooting club. It's a very famous club in Cairo. This is the direction to the pyramids.
Ah, so out to Giza.
Yes.
Is that?
Yes.
How did you get started in jewelry design?
It was by accident. This has happened to me. I'm an interior design. I graduated from Faculty of Fine Art in Cairo. And then I tried to work in pottery with the children, and then I found a book, this book changed completely my my life, because it was about medieval jewelry in Europe. And I started working. This was about 25 years ago, and I practiced in Kankalili, with this is.
Oh, you did? You went and worked with the workmen there?
Yes, yes.
Tell us what Kalkalili is.
Yes, Kankalili, it's an old suburb of Cairo, and all the crafts, they are in this area, and it's very old place. The street is very narrow, and it's the bazaar area of Cairo, and the workshop is up on top of the workshop of the shops, and it was a very interesting experience for me, because this was 25 years ago.
But you were an apprentice. You must have been an apprentice at that point.
Yes, and then I finished I went to London, to one of the polytechnics of London. They gave me, the British Council, they gave me a grant, and I studied in London after that.
Ah, are you Egyptian?
Yes, I'm Egyptian.
So you come back and forth, done your education, but you've ended up here.
Yes, yes.
How would you put these pieces together? Because the thing that I was the most interested in, and the thing that I saw were those tiny little houses,
The
little
buildings,
collages,
yeah.
the buildings.
Yeah. I love our Egyptian architecture, and we have in Cairo different areas and different influences. I found the peasant architecture, the Nubian architecture, and the Saidi architecture. This has inspired me of the.
So that you made the little collages or little objects of art, I call them.
Yes.
But you can do everything with them.
Yes, I made them as earrings and rings and brooches, necklaces, everything.
So where did that influence come? Just from the architecture?
Yes, we have beautiful architecture, starting with different civilizations, Coptics.
And then the jewelry that we have here comes from all different.
Yes,
influence comes from all different.
Yes,
places.
because this is influenced by not in Egypt only. It came from different areas in the Arab world, because I have some Moroccan influences in my work, and some Yemeni, and some Iraqi, and some
Have you traveled to all those different places?
Yes, I travel a lot.
And then how do you pick up the information?
I collect. I'm a collector too. I collect old jewelry, and this gives me inspiration of old things.
Do you use old things or just new?
No. I keep my collection because this gives me idea about the old designs, and this is I try to develop the old designs to new things.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't use any old pieces.
Nothing old is used.
No.
So everything that's made in these pieces are
new.
Newly made.
Yes.
And what you're wearing around your
it's
neck
all
is
new.
all designed, and you make them in the workshop. And
Yes. It's all new, but inspired by the old. This is like the old amulet, the old Omani amulets.
so you actually do you draw?
Yes, I draw things, and I have a workshop. I have a big workshop with workers. I draw, and then I work with the workers, and then.
And I understand your work has been on display as well, exhibitions.
Yes, I just came back from the States. Actually, I was in Washington and I was in New York. This is a week ago. My work is in the Brooklyn Museum in New York. It's in the Sackler Museum. It's in the Washington.
Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, so we found someone who loves America. Good place to display your things.
Yeah, and we have a show in Washington. This will be in the Museum of Women in the Arts. They start looking for the artists in the Arab world, and there will be a big show in
oh, that's great.
next year.
That's really something to look forward to, because there are so many different arts, and women in the Arab world are not right up there.
Yes.
And this is a way to bring out what
This
you're
will be
doing.
a big show, and there will be a tour in the United States for this show for about 18 months, I think.
So we can look for that. Do you sign these pieces?
Yes, each piece is signed,
So we know it's an Azza.
Yes, because this is I have a signature, and I have the date, and I have my name, and it's made in Cairo, made in Egypt.
Made in Egypt,
Yes.
but made in Cairo. Do people collect your work?
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
Tell us some of the people who have bought your pieces.
You mean the famous people?
Yes, the famous people.
Yes,
I have a piece.
Yes, I have Queen Noor, I have Madame Netawan, I have Catherine Deneuve, I have Prime Minister of Jordan, Saudi Arabia.
Do they come to the shop, or do you go to them, or how do you do this?
Yes, sometimes I have exhibitions in the Arab world, and the French. I had an exhibition in Paris in the Studio Monde Arabe. This was for about 18 months. It stayed for about 18 months,
So they can pick from the exhibition?
Yes, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what else is here.
This is some of the work. They are, I have many inspiration in these pieces. This is actually a South Yemeni piece, which is it's completely disappeared now, and I like the shape of the beads here and the things. I try to to
Combine?
combine and makes it a revival for the things which is disappear.
Because so many of those things I understand are disappearing. The actual techniques and the
That's
say,
right.
crescent shapes and squares and circles, the way they did them.
Yes, yes, and this is part of my work in my workshop. It's try to use the old techniques with the old design and make some and to keep this alive. You'll find many inspired by the Yemeni or this is African, for instance.
I see.
This is African, and this is the amulet I use with this African things. And the combination here is it's a combination of Moroccan and Yemeni things.
We in the gallery here we've seen so many things that are very typical Egyptian. And are these lamps from here?
Yes, it's actually it's my sister lamp. She's an artist too, and she's working on lighting, you know. And some of her work they are copies from the museum, and some of her work they are creation.
Original.
Yes, it's the same thing. It's the same line like me, but it's.
And so, how can you tell the old from the new?
It's very difficult. Actually, it's a very good piece that some people they get confused of this is antique or this is new. They are well done.
That's how you can get confused. Is there anything else that's really typical Egyptian that we should know about? That you really love that's here in the shop?
I love my sister work very much. I love lanterns, I love lighting.
Is this as well?
Yes, this is actually it's a creation because it's a combination of the this is the dome of the Nubian houses, and this is given inspiration about the design here you found in the facades of the Nubian houses, and this is inspired of doing this at the top of the lantern, and this is Islamic, actually Islamic motif, geometrical motif, and this is actually it's a folkloric. It's a nice combination.
So she's put them all together
Yes.
and made the thing.
Yeah.
Well, before we leave, I want to ask you what I know living here. I think Cairo is so exciting, and it's been so wonderful to go to Luxor and to travel to Aswan. What about Cairo or Egypt is the most exciting thing to you since you've lived here for so long?
For me, Cairo, you know, it gives me many ideas in my work. You know, going to museums because we have a lot of museums, old houses of Cairo and mosques and museums. You know, the desert, palm trees around Cairo. You know.
That's what's so beautiful. You use a lot of palm trees in your work.
Yes, I
but
love
that's very much like California, because we have palm trees everywhere too, and we love our palm trees.
Yeah.
And when I got here, they have the same kind of palm trees we do. So we want to thank you, Azza Fahmy, for being with us today.
Thank you, John.